Welcome to Yarns to Spin, the podcast where every story tells a song. Here you will find an eclectic collection of unusual stories, strange happenings, tall tales, folklore, and intriguing Americana. What is better than hearing a good story? Listening to the song that goes along with it. Yarns to Spin presents Spooklight Road. It was a cold and moonless night in the Missouri Ozarks, and three teenage boys were slowly walking down a narrow road. The only sound they heard was the crunching of gravel beneath their feet. They were an unlikely trio. Mike, the oldest, regretted not wearing more than his high school leather jacket. This adventure was his idea, and he had walked down this same road once before, but to no avail. He was a senior, the upperclassman, always willing to take a dare. He had a ready smile, but tonight his face was set with determination. Charlie was a junior. He played on the basketball team with Mike, so he was a shoo-in for the trip. JB was a freshman, the new kid in town, and he was just happy to tag along. He didn't really hang out with the other two, but he'd heard the rumor going around school. Mike was going to try it again. He was going back down that road. He was telling everyone he'd see it for sure this time. It was then that JB had a flash of inspiration. He waited for Mike to come out of English class. "Hey, Mike, I got some gas money." That sealed the deal, and the trip was on. Mike had parked his '57 Bel Air up by Spooky's museum, and by now they were about halfway down the road. Nothing yet. Charlie whispered, "You guys see anything?" No one answered. They were all breathing faster now, and their breath fogged the night air. JB later remembered that it was just about this time that he started to think, we're on a wild goose chase. But then suddenly there it was. All three of them froze. No one said a word. He couldn't believe it. It was just like he had heard. A glowing white ball of light, about the size of a basketball, floating a few feet off the road. No one moved. Finally, Mike said, "Let's keep walking." But there was a hint of hesitation in his voice. The light had suddenly appeared to start moving towards them. It seemed to pick up speed. The boys started to back up, slowly at first, then faster. But then, as quickly as the light had appeared, it vanished. It was gone. Charlie was the first to speak. "Man, it's cold. Let's get out of here." On the way home, Mike did something odd. He almost always turned on his car radio, searching for his favorite station, WLS. But not that night. They sat in silence for a while, and then, almost in unison, they let it out. What in the hell was that? Of course, they didn't know. To this day, nobody really knows. But those three teenagers, a lot older now, know one thing for sure. If you were to ask them what they saw that night, one by one, they would all give you the same answer. We saw the spooklight.
Now Double-Out Brown, he's my best friend. We've been hunting time and time again. He'd go off on a deer, half cocked, truth be told. And that's how I first heard of Spooklight Road. Down in New County, the old timers would say, there's an albino buck hides through the day, old as the hills, big and bold. He only walks at night along Spooklight Road. So Double Odd, he says, thought I'd heard it all. We're gonna do a little hunting, and it might be against the law. But I got the nerve, and with some luck, down that road tonight, we're gonna find that bug. Spooklight, let's turn around. Don't you get caught past sundown. Some say, hey, it's a ghost white and cold. Something's at the end of Spooklight Road. Well, the mist was rising up through the trees when that buck appeared, pretty as she pleased. Double I knew had him in his side, but I felt a chill, something wasn't right. I held my breath, I turned around, a strange ball of light was floating off the ground. And on my name, to this day, I swear, it started chasing us right through the air. Spooklight, let's turn around. Don't you get caught past sundown. Some say, hey, it's a ghost white and cold. Something's at the end of Spooklight Road. Now we don't talk about that night. We were hunting after dark, and it served us right. So you've been warned, and it's the truth all told. I wouldn't go down Spooklight Road. I wouldn't go down Spooklight Road. No, I wouldn't go down Spooklight Road. No, 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 I wouldn't go down Spooklight Road.
Many years have passed, and I never saw the spooklight again. As you may have speculated, I was the high school freshman mentioned in the introduction to this story. I did return to Spooklight Road several times during the following years, but the spooklight never returned for me, like it did that very first time. Some people say it doesn't appear with the frequency it did years back. However, people to this day are still telling their stories about seeing the light. Spooky's little museum is long gone, and the gravel road is now paved over. The spooklight remains a mystery. There was some speculation that it turned out to be car lights, reflected from a distance and somehow shining down on the road. But many discredit this by noting that stories were told of seeing the light a long time ago, before the time of automobiles and even before the road was built. Others speculate that it's will-o'-the-wisp, electric discharges from inside of the earth, and others believe it could be mysterious balls of light called orbs. Many ghostly legends have also been told for decades about the Spooklight. The oldest is that the light is the spirit of an Indian maiden and a young brave who were to be married. The girl's father wouldn't allow them to marry, and they chose to die together by jumping into a nearby river. Other legends say it's the ghost of an Indian chief that carries a swinging lantern. The song you heard earlier, Spooklight Road, recounts the legend that the light protected an albino buck that was sacred to an Indian tribe in the area. The song warns, it's a ghost white and cold. Don't go down Spooklight Road. However, there's nothing like a mystery to lure people to see for themselves what it's all about. We may never know what it is, but like the song says, something's at the end of Spooklight Road.
Spooklight